Growing up in this area and in this brownstone and knowing how much history and family is rooted in this space is like, wow. It's really amazing to see and such a blessing that I don't take for granted. My name is Kai Avent De Leon, and I live in my grandmother's original brownstone. What I love most about this brownstone would just have to be the story, the legacy behind it. This brownstone has been in my family's life for almost half a century.
I was 25 years old, I think, when I came to this country. I came with my family. I had 3 young children. I worked in the evening, 3 jobs. It was challenging, but rewarding. Hard work, but satisfying.
Hey, Grammy.
Hi, Kai. What you're up to today?
You know, just hanging out in the hood.
Taking over my community?
Yeah, it is your community.
I didn't really know too much about brownstones. I just overheard a conversation. Somebody's talking about brownstones and how beautiful they are. I said, oh, you know what? Maybe I should get a brownstone. I didn't know really exactly what I wanted or what I was looking for. But my good aunt told me, you will know the house when you walk into it. And that's exactly what happened. I purchased Kai's brownstone in Bedford-Stuyvesant in 1984. It was there, all the details were there, but painted over, and it was what you call a labor of love. It gave me an appreciation for the brownstone itself, the actual property, the value, the history.
Brownstone became very popular in the 1800s. They are styled because of the Dutch influence in New York's history. Brooklyn is actually a Dutch word, Brooklyn. The word stoop kind of comes off of the Dutch history. Stoop usually is high because it's good to get mud off your shoe if you come up the stairs a bit, Also, it makes sense because New York doesn't have a lot of space. So you need to have the house kind of like very vertical. Before Kai's brownstone was built, there was a baseball field where her house stands today. And during the off months, what they would do is they would drain the field and make a big ice skating pond there. So when they were building the houses, people didn't trust the foundations because they say, oh, it's kind of swampy lands, there's water, So architects had to actually make the houses a little bit grander. The first owner is still a mystery, but the second owner we definitely know. The second owner, Hugh McLaughlin, gave this house as a wedding gift to his daughter, who was marrying a doctor at the time. He died actually very early on, and whose funeral was actually in the parlor of the house. The parlor was used for many things, weddings, funerals, and all these houses had them. Depending on the degree of the guest, if there were special guests, they go into the front parlor, and then in the back parlor was more like guests you would always see all the time, or a neighbor or something like that, Bedford-Stuyvesant is the largest Victorian neighborhood probably in the country. There's over 9,000 buildings built before 1900. So Kai's house is a very typical of that time type of brownstone. The Victorians are very moody. They like dark things and mahogany and hardwoods and all this kind of stuff. And there's a new invention called electricity coming out. So people want to show their new inventions out. They actually want darker houses. And they were really influenced by the East. So they love Japanese aesthetics, and they would look at things in Asia and try to make it Anglo style, and they try to merge the two. So you'll get a lot of the carvings of the woodwork, the newel posts, the mantles, and things like this. People today don't pay attention to the small details, but the Victorians did. Even down to the knobs of the pocket shutters. Everything was very, very detail-oriented.
Comes out like this, How beautiful is that? These shutters, they were tucked in here, and a lot of varnish. And over the years, the varnish became very dark and crackly. So when I moved in, a lot of the stuff was painted over. I had to think about now stripping the paint. And I just started stripping. And then you get back to the wood, you realize, my goodness, this is oak.
By 1885, no one wanted marble mantles in their houses. They wanted wood mantles with decorative Minton-style tiles around it. That was very a big fashion in those days. They were very common. People had all kind of decorative kind of elements put on them. Sometimes you have a scene of a story, or you have faces on them.
Could you imagine these tiles might be from 18-something? These tiles have been there. I was able to save a lot of the doorknobs and the door pulls on the door. Phenomenal doors. They slide in and out very easily. And you have all that beautiful woodwork. When I first came here, some of these things were missing, but I was able to get them and replace them. Treasure.
The home's history inspired my design process. Naturally, it's kind of hard to not respect a house like this. It was really just things that weren't original to the space that I think we redesigned or replaced, and just really modernizing it a little bit. There's so much woodwork, so I already knew like that doesn't get touched. Woodwork is something that I think people look forward to when they go into a brownstone because, you know, it's gonna be very elaborate and detailed. I feel like I'd wanted to have the presence of what I grew up with here and make it my own in different ways.
It has been a complete circle because I've seen it going on to the next generation.
We all have a connection to this space in different ways. Knowing that this brownstone was hers, I have to continue to take care of it.